Manx Radio Sport.
Well, welcome along to Saturday Sport Classified for Saturday the 2nd of November 2024. Coming up between now and 6 o'clock-ish, we will take a look through today's football results across the Canada Life Men's Premier League, Arden and Druggan Division 2, Combination 1 and Combination 2. We've also got 3 games of rugby to dissect with Dave Christian. Busy day up at Ballafletcher in the Counties 3 ADM Lancs and Cheshire, the Women's NC2 North-South, and an under-15s friendly game all taking place there. Dave joining us a little bit later on. No Ben Cunningham, but we will run through the results in the Mixed Cup, Mixed Plate, Mixed Bowl in hockey, and Rob Pritchard joining me from the bowl with team news ahead of FC Isle of Man against Abbey Hay, which gets underway at 6 o'clock. But as always, let's start off with the classified results, and beginning with football and the Canada Life Men's Premier League. Foxdale 2, Corinthians 0. Russian United 0, Peel 2. St Mary's 2, St George's 0. Moran 3, Ayr United 4. St John's United 3, Onken 3. Ramsey 3, Laxey 2. In Arden and Druggan Limited Division 2, Castletown 3, Braddon 5. Colby against Maloo was a postponement due to the referee being ill. Ramsey Youth Centre 1, Douglas High School Old Boys 3. Douglas and District 1, Governors Athletic 1. Pulrose United 6, Douglas Royal 4. In Canada Life Combination 1, Corinthians 9, Foxdale 2. Peel 2, Russian 1. St Mary's and St George's was postponed. That's been awarded as an away win to St Mary's, as St George's were unable to field a team. We're awaiting results in Ayr United against Moran in Combination 1 and Laxey against Ramsey in Combination 1, but Onken finished 4-1 winners over St John's United. In Arden and Druggan Limited Combination 2, Braddon 3, Castletown 4. Douglas High School Old Boys 3, Ramsey Youth Centre 0. And Douglas Athletic 6, Douglas and District 0, Douglas Royal 2, Pulrose United 4. Currently awaiting a result for Jims against Douglas Athletic in Combination 2. If you do have any of those details, 166 177 is the text number. Moving on to rugby, Counties 3, ADM Lancs and Cheshire, Vagabonds 10, Bury 39. Women's NC2 North-South, Vagabonds Ladies 70, Bury 0. And hockey. All the attention was on the Cup, the Plate and the Bowl. We'll start off with the Mixed Cup semi-finals. Finished Backers A6, Harlequins A2. Vikings A5, Vikings B2. And in the Mixed Plate semi-finals, Valkyries C 0, Ramsey A 0. Valkyries C win 5-4 on Flicks. Castletown Southerners 2, Backers C 0. And in the Mixed Bowl semi-finals, Valkyries D 2, Backers Colts 2, with Valkyries D winning 6-5 on Flicks. And Castletown Camags 0, Harlequins B 4. That's your full look at classified results. And if I get my paperwork in order, we will go over to Tony Mepham, who joins me in the studio to look at today's football results. And Tony, we'll start off with your game, Russian United 0, Peel 2.
Yeah, and it wasn't a bad game, to be fair. I'm just trying to clear my throat. It was Peel's. It was Bignell got the first goal after 36 minutes, and then Thomas Brown scored one on 90 minutes. But probably the turning point a little bit was Danny Lane. He was sent off 15 minutes away from the end of the game. But Russian United had chances today, they really did. But Peel just kept chipping away, missed a couple of chances, but it didn't happen for them in the end, and Peel won 2-0.
We're missing our glamorous assistant of Ben Cunningham to run off and get you a glass of water.
I know, I've just been out and had one, actually. I can feel a cough coming on because I think I'm coming down with something.
Let's start with the big game of the day then as well. Not start with, let's continue with the big game of the day. Moran 3, Ayr United 4. Moran were 3-1 up in this game till I think about 20 minutes to go.
It was a belting game. Sorry, Simon. It was 3-0 to Moran at half-time, and they were going really well. Mikey Callister got one of the goals. A great finish, dinked it in over Nathan Tier. But for Ayr United, I know Sean Kelly got one, and also I think the second or was the fourth goal, but it was Jamie Callister who got it. Don't know who got the other ones, but 4 goals in that second half for Ayr United. Absolutely fantastic. And Moran, we touched on it last night with Rob, that they just seem to be able to give these performances against the best teams and try and hang on to them in the end. But they didn't happen to be able to do that today. But 4-3 against the top side is a good performance, so hopefully they can build on this. But it's still, the league table shows that they've lost every game.
We'll come to the league tables a little bit later on, but that could be an important 3 points for Ayr United to fight back.
Yeah, it's a massive 3 points, and everyone down at Russian was saying, "Is that right? Is the scoreline right?" I said, "Yeah, it is." And at 3-0, it was just a total shock. But it just shows the character of Ayr United in that second half, to come out with 4 goals and just not really sort of maybe overplay the ball. That's what can happen when you're chasing the game. And, it's a big 3 points that for Ayr United. And we'll come to sort of other scores, how it now is starting to pan out for the Railway Cup. And when we're played, 9-10 games now, there's only a couple of games left to play.
Well, another game, teams involved in the mix there. Foxdale against Corinthians. Foxdale running out 2-0 winners. Yeah,
it was a good result that for Foxdale, and it was Liam who got the first one, Liam Cannon I think it was, and Lee Gale got the other one. So it's a big 3 points for Foxdale. And just looking at that league table now, you've got Ayr United played 10 for 28, Peel have played 10 for 25, Laxey have played 11 for 21. And also joining them now is Foxdale, played 11 for 21. And when you look at that, that's a team that got promoted from last season into the top flight and going ever so well. And when you see the forward line that they've got there, you can see why it's going to plan.
Okay, and we move on to the early kick-off. St Mary's 2, St George's 0.
Yeah, and it was 2-0 at half-time, and it was Carl Clark with the first one for St Mary's, but Therese Thompson it was who got the second one. Important 3 points that for St Mary's. I don't think they'll get involved in the Railway Cup. That's played 10 now for 15 points, but you never know. There's still plenty of games to go, but a big win for St Mary's. And St George's, another battling performance.
Sounds like another good game. St John's United against Onken finished 3-3. I think Onken will see that as a good point there.
Yeah, and I think Liam Thomas had his hands full in this one because he's the referee, and by all accounts it was a little bit sort of feisty towards the end, but I think they finished up with 11 players each, both teams. But St John's were 2-0 down at one stage. Ethan Levers, I think it was, with the first. Andy Asbridge got the second. And it was then Callum Taggart, he got a couple of goals. Aaron Babb got one. But it was Andy Asbridge who scored the equaliser with only 5 minutes to go. So at the end of the season, that could prove a big point for Onken because they're battling towards the bottom of the table. But St John's will be disappointed. Damien Petkoff, I believe the St John's goalkeeper, that was his first game today since his first child was born. He packed in when his first child was born, and St John's talked him back into playing today and played ever so well. And he used to be the island's #1 goalkeeper as well, so well done to Damo.
Great. Speaking of big points at the bottom of the table, Ramsey beating Laxey 3-2. That's going to be big 3 points again, potentially at the end of the season. It
is, because you look at the league table there. Ramsey were 9th this morning, and you look at Laxey, they were 3rd. Laxey looking to get 3 points to, get them right in there for the Railway Cup. But today it was a real struggle for them. 2 goals for Jamie Agnew for Ramsey. Alfie Scott, I think it was, who got the winner. Tom Cowan got the 2 goals for Laxey, and it was 1-0 to Ramsey at half-time.
Okay, moving on to Odland Drug Limited Division 2. Castletown 3, Braddon 5.
Yeah, and that was the big game in Division 2 today, because Braddon, top of the table, Castletown just off them. But today it was Nick Harvey was the star. Well done, Nick. He got 3. New signing from Michael, Liam Kane got a goal, and Charlie Knight got the other one. It was Ash Sansbury with one of the goals for Castletown. Kyle Watson got one, and Ollie Shearer got a goal as well. It was 3-2 to Braddon at half-time.
Okay, Colby against Malou was postponed due to the referee being ill, so we move on to Ramsey Youth Centre 1, Douglas High School Old Boys 3. That just, I know they've got some games in hand, just puts a bit of daylight for Old Boys, doesn't it, in the top 2 there? Yeah,
well, with Old Boys, when you look at that now, you've got Braddon, top of the table, 22 points, played 9, and then you've got Old Boys just behind them in Division 2, and they've played 8 for 22. So it's a real battle going on. That game in hand could prove so important for them. But once again today it's left to the young players. Caleb Anderson, who I think's 17 years of age, so well done to Caleb. JJ Blander got his name on the score sheet as well after completing his suspension last week. And Jacob Stones, who's been scoring on a regular basis for Old Boys, got the third one. Haven't got Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys goal scorer.
Okay, Douglaston District 1, Gunners Athletic 1, first points of season for D&D.
Yeah, it is an important point as well because, D&D are one of those clubs, they do everything right and just need a little bit of luck in their sort of camp. And today they got that all-important goal scored by Richard Radcliffe. I think he got it on the 80th minute, but they're still rooted at the bottom of the table, but a little bit closer now to certainly Maloo. Governors obviously getting a point out of that, but we haven't got their scorer.
Okay, Pulrose 6, Douglas Royal 4.
Let's go for Douglas Royal first. Their goal scorer was Jordan Cowan. He got all 4 for Douglas Royal, but for Pulrose United, great result for them today. Good performance. Callum Dunn got 2, Crane Smith got 2, Aaron Laracy and Callum Holden got the other. And what was a nice note on this one was good clean game. 6-4, you'd expect it all to open up and battle, but it was played in good spirits. Nice to hear and well done to both teams.
Should mention as well at this point in terms of, I mentioned it at the top of the hour, but first weekend of 2 o'clock kickoffs this season as well, just to remind if anyone turned up half an hour late, they need to get a move on earlier next weekend.
I'm sure there's some stories to tell somewhere on that one, but it helps us big time, doesn't it? Because, Clayton, all the scores together in 30 minutes is tough going, but tonight a little bit of ease. Still got 1 or 2 scores to get in, but yeah, 2 o'clock, and to say it was the first one of the season, it was quite dark tonight, so fingers crossed. We've never had a problem before. We've never had to go earlier on a league game, but tonight it was a little bit dark.
Okay, and we move on to Canada Life Combination 1. We'll start off with the postponement between St George's and St Mary's. That's been awarded an away win to St Mary's because St George's was unable to field a team. Yep,
that's right. And we'll have a chat with St George's this week. I know there's 1 or 2 clubs saying, how much longer can it happen? But, we're trying to help these clubs, Simon. And, players aren't available due to work commitments or family matters, whatever. But it's more regular now to have this game postponed. So, I think St George's have to make a big decision.
Okay. We'll move on to the games that did go ahead. Big win for Corinthians, 9-2 winners against Foxdale.
Yeah, it is, and it's great to see some young players in here scoring goals, and one old player, I should say. Oscar Watterson got a couple of goals. Lewis Radcliffe got 2. John Hayes, Connor Clark, Liam Shilcott, James McCants, and not so evergreen, Lee Ford, who will be playing Masters tomorrow as well. Haven't got Foxdale's goal scorers, but good result that by the young guns and the old guns, if you like, of Corinthians.
And a good win for Peel as well. Just rushing very close to the top of the table. And Comby won, and Peel running out 2-1 winners at home.
Well, they are, because whenever you're looking at the Combination 1 title champions at the end of the season, it's usually either Russian United or Ramsey of recent times. But today, Russian United just couldn't do it. Fingal Watterson got the goal for them. But for Peel, it was Jonathan Koroma got the 2 goals for Peel.
Okay, and A United 6, Moran 1.
Thank you for that. Have you got any goal scorers there, Simon?
Just let me find that message again. Sorry, I'm just going through a couple of other ones we've had.
No problem.
No, just 6-1 was full-time. Moran and Comby 1.
Right, I'll just check mine to see if anything has come through. No, it hasn't. So, yeah, 6-1 it was.
Onken 4, St John's United 1.
Yeah, and Darren Hudson, he got a couple of goals for Onken. Well done, Darren. Jake Gartland on the score sheet and Sam Cubban. It was Lewis Daly who got the goal for St John's, and also there was 2 penalty misses, and I think it's 1 on each side. Darren Hudson missed to complete his hat-trick from the penalty spot in the second half, and Liam Sale also missed from the penalty spot as well. So 4-1 to Onken.
And we're awaiting a result of Laxey against Ramsey, unless you've had that come in the last couple of
minutes. Just got it in.
Yep.
Haven't got any goal scorers. Malcolm Kelly's just checking them for me now. But the score, we think, is Laxey 1, Ramsey 5.
Okay, and just going back to the where am I on my notes here? Division 2 game between Youthy and Old Boys. I had a message in here to say close game, could have ended even, but Old Boys held on. Ross Crawford goal for Youthy and also hit the bar in the first half.
I thought it might have been Ross. I was going to take a chance on that one because he's the one that usually scores. But, when you look at that as well in Division 2, it's a real sort of battle going on in there because you've got Braddon, who are at the top of the table on 22 points. Then just below them is Old Boys. Colby, who didn't play today, on 18. And then 2 clubs on 4th and 5th. That's Ramsey Youth Centre with 15, I think it is. And then you've got Michael on 14. And Castown just starting to creep up that table now, who have played 9 games for 12.
Okay, Combi 2, find the odd and drunken combination 2, and just can't quite see where Page has gone there. Braddon 3, Castletown 4.
Yeah, and a close game this one as well, and a good result for Castletown. And Ollie Lee got 2 goals for Castletown. Finn Mulligan on the score sheet as well, and Owen Kamada. For Braddon, it was Joe Tier with 2, and Mikey Hutton with the other one.
Gyms against Douglas Athletic, I'm still awaiting any details on if you haven't got that. So either Tony. Old Boys against Youth, Douglas High School Boys 3, Ramsey Youth Centre 0. Yeah,
strong result for Old Boys, because these two sides are well up there in this league. And Cian Presley got 1, Ryan Healy got a goal, and Robbie Ward in the combination today, he got the other one.
Again, that does just puts 3 points between them now, doesn't it, in second and third, I think, that result. So 5 points clear. Yeah,
Old Boys are really looking strong in this league, Simon, and you can just see the strength and depth for them from the first team down into the combination as well. So it's going to take something special, I think, to take that trophy away from Old Boys.
Okay, move on to Douglas Athletic 6, Douglas and District 0.
Yeah, 3-0 at half time, and it was Callum Wade with a couple of goals. Dejig Johnson got 2, Tom Davies and Mackenzie. Sorry, I haven't got your Christian name. 6-0 it was.
Okay, and the final game for today, Douglas Royal 2, Pulrose United 4.
Yeah, and Cono Corran got 1, Joe Foster got a goal, and Jacob Foster got a couple of goals. I take it they're brothers. Haven't got Douglas Royal's goal scorer.
Okay, any of those results you are missing, if you do know them, 166, 177 would be great. We can fill in the blanks. In fact, only one result we're missing now. That's Gyms against Douglas Athletic in Odd and Drug and Limited Combination 2. Just coming back to the Canada Life Premier League table then, Tony, after today's results. We did touch on this before, but Ayr United just still ahead of Peel, I think. Yes, they are. They'll be, 6 points ahead now, is that?
Yeah, well, let's just have a little look, because now we're coming up closely to the Plum Properties Railway Cup semi-finals, which is usually the first week. And here you go. We've got to give you this one. We've just got Gyms and Douglas Athletics scoreline in. It was Gyms 5, Douglas Athletic 5. That's some game, Simon.
It is a game.
Don't have the scorers. Thanks for that, because we might get the programme finished. But for Ayr United, their combination goal scorers were Mark Nixon with 3, and Phil Dunnigan got the other one in that result. And just looking back at that table, when you look at Ayr United played 10, it's 12 for qualification for the Railway Cup, and Ayr United have got St John's and Ramsey to play. So 2 toughish games. Peel have got St Mary's and Moran to play. So again, you'd expect them to beat Moran, and St Mary's can always be a bit awkward. Then the pressure comes on the clubs behind them, because you've got Laxey who played 11, so they've got 1 in hand, and it's Onken they've got to play there. Corinthians have got to play Russian and St Mary's to have a chance of getting in there. And when you look at Foxdale as well, I think Foxdale have got 2 to play, and I think that might be Union Mills, is it possibly? And maybe Russian in that one, and we'll check on that one. But there's still a lot to go on between, I think, 3rd Laxey, 4th Corinthians, 5th Foxdale, and you can't forget Union Mills as well. If they could get it together, they'd have to win the 2 to get them on the 21 points and get a better goal difference and teams around them, but still can be done.
Okay, you're not on FC Isle of Man duty tonight, but they are in action back at the Bowl. Good run of form for Paul Jones' side at the moment.
Really is. They're absolutely flying, and tonight being on home soil, I think is just a nice time for them to come back here, because they've been away and put in some really good performances. I think it's great the way the squad's changing, because the new players that are coming in are actually holding their own and making it more difficult for the more seasoned players to get back in. It's a good squad tonight. Players that I like to see playing are like Charlie Higgins and also Dean Pinnington. But you've got form of some of the players that are in there, and Luke Booth, one of them, is right in top form. So it's great to see. I'll listen to the first half while I'm driving down to Peel. I might catch up with you later on, because I'll be celebrating Roger Chadwick's 65th. But I'm going to miss the game, but I'll catch up on the reports tonight.
All right, Tony, thank you very much. See you next Saturday afternoon.
Hopefully.
Manx Radio Sport.
22 minutes after 5 o'clock then. Thanks to Tony Mepham for all the details on this afternoon's football. And now let's hand over to Dave Christian for a look at this afternoon's rugby action. Good evening, Dave.
Yeah, good evening, Simon. Though we did have that one missing result, I think, from the classifieds, which was the under 15 friendly. I've got that one now, so I can tell you that Vagabonds lost that one. Final score there was Vagabonds 7, Bury 32. Apologies for missing that one out. The game was going on the adjacent pitch. I was trying to follow the ladies' rugby, which we'll come to very shortly. We'll start off, though, with Vagabonds men in Counties 3, ADM, Lancashire and Cheshire. Bury's lofty position in the standings meant that they were always going to be a tough prospect, even at Balafletcher. But despite that, Vagabonds led 10-8 at half-time before they finally succumbed 39-10. Will Smith kicked Bury in front with an early penalty. Vaggers hit back quickly, though, the first of Tom Gascoigne's 2 first-half tries. And at that stage, 5-3 ahead. On the sideline, we thought it was going to be tough for Vaggers, but the guys fronted up very well, particularly in the first half. Sam Norris grabbed a try for Bury to put them back into the lead. A little bit lucky with the bounce of the ball, but you make your own luck, I guess they say. And Sam Norris was in the right place at the right time when the ball bounced awkwardly for the Vaggers defence. Tom Gascoigne then went over for his second, which left Vaggers in front at the break. But the bad news for them at half-time was an injury to playmaker Dan Bomwick meant he could play no further part in the game. And that meant a major reshuffle of the back line, and Bury were very quick to capitalise on it. They were a light-looking team. They struggled in the set scrummage against Vagabonds. But when they actually got their game going, their passing, their offloading and their running game was actually brilliant, and they thoroughly deserved that win. 2 tries from the Bury skipper, Dan Palmieri, got them in front. Sam Lith went over for a try. That secured them the bonus point. And in the final stages of the match, Joe Kelly and Sam Norris both added to the scoreboard, with Will Smith adding 3 conversions in the second half as well. So 39-10 to Bury. They take 5 points into the standings in the league. That will put them up to, I think, 2nd or 3rd place. They are level on points with Garstang. However, Garstang have a better points difference, so they're just ahead. Both played 6 games for 30 points, and ahead of them, I think we've got De La Salle from Salford. De La Salle top of the table at the moment, but both Garstang and Bury have a game in hand. Vagabonds down near the foot of the standings, they're not quite bottom. That honour at the moment belongs to Old Bedians, but there's only a point in it. So things not going so well for Vagabonds at the moment, and that injury to Dan Bomwick will be a concern for them with the games coming up ahead. But this afternoon, they were looking like they were going to come away with something from the match, and until that injury and the half-time reshuffle sort of cost them dearly. For the ladies, however, at Vagabonds, it was a much, much brighter day. They beat Bury 70-0 in a high-scoring performance, and they've moved into 2nd place in the women's NC2 North standings. Jules Harrison and Becky Dunn both went over for early tries for Vagabonds, but the game really came alive just about the half-hour mark. Bliss Murta scored 2 in quick succession. Sophie Henry went in as well, and the score jumped from 10-0 to 27-0 in 3 hectic minutes. Leona McGovern then joined the party, and that left Vagabonds 34-0 ahead at half-time after Sammy MacDonald had kicked 2 first-half conversions. In the second half, Chloe Dillon started it off. She came on as a half-time replacement. She scored very early in the second half, just 2 minutes in. Sophie Henry then went in for her second of the game. Jules Harrison quickly grabbed her hat-trick. 2 tries back-to-back as Bury struggled defensively. And as the final whistle approached, Malin Campbell, who is arguably Vagabond's best player, started today on the bench, maybe struggling a little bit with a knock. The last thing you want if you're on the back foot is Malin Campbell running at you with the ball in hand. But she crossed for a try late on. And also late on, Bliss Murta back on as a second half replacement. She completed her hat-trick. So fun and games and song and dance, I suspect, for Vagabonds ladies at Balafletcher this evening. I think Bury looked like they're over for the night, so it's going to be a bit of a party time up there. And a thoroughly deserved win. I was very impressed with Vagabonds today. The defensive work was excellent. excellent, but the ball handling was the bit that caught my eye. Becky Dunn in particular, amazing pair of hands, and she was distributing, running, kicking, pass. She just knew what to do at the right time, and everything worked out for her today. Perhaps on another day that won't be the case, but you can't take anything away from a 70-0 win. So well done to Vagabonds ladies this afternoon.
Dave Christian, thank you very much.
Manx Radio Sport.
27 and a half minutes after 5 o'clock, then. No Ben Cunningham joining me this evening to look at hockey, so I will do my best to get through this with the match reports that I've been provided with. So we start off in the Mixed Cup semi-finals. It was Backers A6, Harlequins A2. Andy Whiting and Jamie Brown both with 2 goals for Backers A, Elliot Reid and Martha Broderick with the others, and Rachel Middleton and Oren Blakemore for Harlequins. In the other Mixed Cup semi-final, it was Vikings A5, Vikings B3, Vikings B2, sorry. Vikings A were 3-0 up at half time. Josh Dougal and Alex Birch for Vikings B. So that means the Mixed Cup final will be between Backers A and Vikings A. These finals will be held on the 30th of November. Moving on to the Mixed Plate semi-finals, it finished scoreless between Valkyries C and Ramsey A. Valkyries C did go on to win that game 5-4 on penalty flicks, and in the other Mixed Plate semi-final it finished Castletown Southerners 2, Backers C 0. Caitlin Williams and Ned McGregor for Castletown Southerners. So your Mixed Plate semi-final will be between Valkyries C and Castletown Southerners. Again, that game played on the 30th of November. And the Mixed Bowl semi-finals, Valkyries D 2, Backers Colts 2, Seb Devro and Dane Limensero for Valkyries D, Dave Neal and Christian Davies for Backers Colts finished 6-5 to Valkyries D on flicks. And Castletown Camags 0, Harlequins B4 is the result in the other semi-final in the Mixed Bowl. So that means Valkyries D will take on Harlequins B in the Mixed Bowl final, and again, as with the others, that final will be played on the 30th of November. Ben Cunningham back on the programme to have a detailed look at a return of league action for hockey next weekend between 5 and 6 here on Saturday Sport Classified.
Manx Radio Sport.
Any details we are missing, of course, do let us know. 166 177 is the text number. If you prefer to get in touch via WhatsApp, it's 07624 166 177. FC Isle of Man back in action at the Bowl this evening, welcoming Abbey Hay back to the Bowl. Not met for a couple of years, newly promoted Abbey Hay. And Rob Pritchard is there for us. And Rob, I believe team news is in.
Indeed it is. Thank you, Simon. Yes, good evening for the first time to the Bowl Stadium in Douglas ahead of this NWCFL Premier Division match between FC Isle of Man and Abbey Hay, with kick-off in just under 30 minutes' time. We can bring you team news for both sides. We'll start with the hosts, FC Isle of Man. In goal is Adam Killier, and then it's Callum Sherry, Jacob Crook, Ryan Burns, Alex Maitland, Carl Watson, Steve Whitley, Sam Baines, the captain, Sean Doyle, Luke Booth and Dean Pinnington. Substitutes for FC Isle of Man, Tom Creer, Dan Hattersley, Nathan Little, Danny Gerrard and Charlie Higgins. And for the visitors, Abbey Hay, in goal is Joe Lawton, and then it's Trey Turner, Sakuba Sanogo, the captain, Joshua Dickin, Moses Yoke, Christopher Rogers, Jamal Crawford, Joel Ankers, Sol Henderson, Reece Clooney and Jordan Barnett. 5 substitutes also for Abbey Hay. They are Jake Forshaw, Finlay Phillips, Ryan Katumba, Dylan Kirkman, and then the final substitute is a late change. Number 17, Max Leeson, comes in for Junior Omorogbe Ojo. Your referee this evening is Declan Dunn. His assistants are Matty Shaw and Sam Palmer. Well, these two sides, although there's a bit of a gap between them in terms of the table at the moment, both of them take identical records from their last 6 games in the league. Both have managed to register 4 wins and 2 defeats in their last 6 outings. And for FC Isle of Man, it's been a successful couple of weeks on the road. They've managed to take maximum points about Longridge Town and Chatterton in their last couple of games. Luke Booth has been one of the stars with 5 goals in his last 3 games for the Ravens. Well, for Abbey Hay, manager Simon Heaton had a number of frustrations from his side's 4-2 defeat against Charnock Richard on Tuesday night. But if the last meeting, quite a while back between these two sides of the ball, is anything to go by, Abbey Hay will certainly provide FC Isle of Man a stern test. You have to go all the way back to March 2022, the last time these two teams met on Manx shores. That day involved a 1-1 draw, Jack McVeigh scoring from the penalty spot for FC Isle of Man, and then a stunning 94th minute free kick from Jordan Lazenbury levelling things up for Abbey Hay that evening. For FC Isle of Man, they keep themselves firmly placed in the promotion playoff spots at the moment, and with results elsewhere, this could be a chance for them to further cement their position in that sort of region of the table. For Abbey Hay, meanwhile, they do have the chance to leap into the top half with maximum points here tonight, so plenty of incentive for both teams going into this one under the floodlights. FC Isle of Man versus Abbey Hay kick off at 6 p.m. Full live match commentary here on Manx Radio DAB and AM 1368 from myself and Darren Timpson from 6 o'clock.
Great, thanks very much, Rob, on that game. And commentary will be with us shortly. If you're not heading down to the bowl this evening, make sure you stay tuned to Manx Radio on AM 1368. We'll keep you abreast of everything that's happening as the Ravens welcome Abbey Hay to the bowl. Just before we wrap things up on Saturday Sport Classified this evening, some more hockey news to bring you regarding the Oak-sponsored Ireland Junior squads. This is for the Tier 2 England Hockey Knockout competition for 24-25, Round 1, and the Under-16s are due to travel to the UK to play Round 1 tomorrow. Unfortunately, the attempt earlier in the year was disrupted due to Storm Ashley, so it's the second attempt at getting these games played, and the squad for the Isle of Man Under-16 girls, who will be playing Bowden Under-16 girls B team at 2:30 tomorrow, is as follows: Amira Crookle, Sienna Millwood, Summer Craig, Sophie Partington, Zoe Brideson, Emile Gallard, Safi Mia, Connie Sellers, Bree Collister, Caitlin Williams, Ella Blakemore, Isla Kane and Ellie Burns. And the Under-16 boys, who are also travelling, they'll be playing Oxton Under-16 boys at 4 o'clock tomorrow. And the Under-16s squad for the Isle of Man junior team are Abe Maddox, Ross Grimley, Harry Mackenzie, Ollie Christian, Rufus Worley, George Lees, Zach Heenis, Matthew Ellis, Robbie Valera, Ustin Dunn, Ethan Skillicon, Caleb Blakemore, Valentino Cosgrave and Liam Harrison. And those two junior squads travelling over as part of the Oak-sponsored Ireland Junior squads for the Tier 2 England Hockey Knockout competition. Hopefully travel all goes to plan this time round, and those games will be played in Round 1 tomorrow. 2:30 for the Under-16 girls teams taking on Bowden Under-16 girls B team, and the Under-16 boys are in action at 4 o'clock as they play Oxton Under-16 boys. That is it for Saturday Sport Classified. Thanks very much to Rob Pritchard, Dave Christian and Tony Mepham for their input across football, rugby and Ben Cunningham as well for sending through the hockey results. And all do it again from 4 o'clock on the full-time show next Saturday. In the meantime, I will hand you back very briefly to Manx Radio Gold for the next 20 minutes or so, and then Rob Pritchard and Darren Timpson picking things up around about 5 to 6 for commentary of this evening's game between FC Isle of Man and Abbey Hay from the Bowl. If you've missed any of the programme, don't forget you can catch up on demand at manxradio.com for the next 7 days, or subscribe to the Manx Radio Sportscast podcast and get all the latest sports news at your leisure. Good evening.